It is time now for Money, Power, Politics. Today, Trump held an event at the White House alongside Stephen Moore. Remember that guy? Now he is with the Heritage Foundation. Together, they unveiled new, unpublished data that they claim shows job revisions during the Biden administration. Watch this.
I was telling the president that he did the right thing in calling for a new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because this shows that over the last 2 years of the Biden administration, the BLS overestimated job creation by 1.5 million jobs. Mr. President, that's a gigantic error.
I don't think it's an error. I think they did it purposely.
Whether that, you may well be right, but even if it wasn't purposefully, it's incompetence.
Right.
Moore also said that this data would be released sometime in the next 6 months, which means we have absolutely no way of verifying whether this is actually true. Well, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent also defended Trump's decision to fire the BLS commissioner today, though he didn't say things were rigged and didn't say it was because she was appointed by Biden. Take a listen.
I can tell you that, like the BLS in government, we have settled for so much mediocrity across the government. BLS in many of their cells, the things that they fill in, they used to have 100% the surveys. Some of them, they're just down to 30% of actual data, and then they're intuiting or imputing the other data. So, like, this is a long-needed change, and the head of BLS is responsible for this.
But here's the deal. Trump officials keep trying to defend this firing. But if they actually cared about these revisions, the answer is not to fire the commissioner. The answer would be to provide the resources the Bureau needs to do better. And yet one of the first things the Trump administration did was get rid of the committee that had the job to try to make the labor report more accurate. For fact's sake, the reason for such big revisions is not because they're rigged. It's because they're updated often, especially when the economy is unpredictable, like during COVID or the financial crisis or right now. Why do I say right now? Because right now, Trump is completely reordering our economy. He's slashing government funding. He's gutting the federal workforce and slapping huge tariffs on key allies. Revisions are not a sign that the agency is failing. They are a sign that it is working, making corrections as we get more information, as we get better, more accurate. Now, could we do more to get better information sooner? Yeah. Could we decide we want to change our methods and practices, that some may be out of date, some might even be obsolete? Sure. We all want information that is fast and accurate. But cutting budgets for agencies that gather the information we rely on, like information that is about weather forecasts or inflation, you cut those agencies, leading to more problems, leading to mistakes, that leads to a lack of trust in our government. And when you don't trust the government, that loss is incalculable. I want to bring in veteran Washington correspondent John Harwood. He's a distinguished fellow at the Duke University and columnist for Zateo on Substack. And Max Chapkin joins us, Bloomberg Businessweek journalist and co-host of the Elon Inc. podcast. John, I got to just take a deep breath on this. What do you think? Are people going to lose even more trust in the government? Because you've got the president saying things are rigged. You've got Scott Bessent saying, the agency is basically incompetent. And let's be clear, we do get big, but let's be clear, we do get big revisions almost every month. And that is very frustrating for economists or businesses who need to rely on this info.
Well, but you identified one of the reasons that it's difficult to gather information right now is because the uncertainty that Trump has created through the way he has taken a sledgehammer to the federal government, the way he's been erratic on tariffs, announcing them, pulling them back, watching the market go up and down. It is very difficult for businesses to plan in that environment, and it's difficult for the government to get information. But if you were the president right now, you ought to tone this down and step away from this story, because the president personally has no credibility on this subject. The sycophantic aides or advisors like Steve Moore who are brought in, they don't have any credibility. BLS has a lot more credibility than the president does. And by harming that agency, he's going to make it a lot more difficult for anyone to have confidence in government economic statistics.